Students, just now we were talking about Lamarckism, right? One pre-Darwinian theory. So Darwin has become famous over Lamarck because of his clarity and more thorough research, not just only theorizing, but he has also gone around the world. In fact, especially into South America, and he has been given some sponsorship by the British government. He has traveled on a ship called HMS Beagle. HMS Beagle has taken him to Galapagos Islands. So, where in these Galapagos Islands, what he found was extraordinarily something called as variation. So, he found among the Galapagos Islands various finches or finches with various finches with several types of beaks. And as I mentioned, from this he developed a theory of variation. This entire visit has started in him an idea called variation. So this has formed the basis or base for the concept of variation among the organisms. So यहाँ से एक point उठाया उन्होंने, and he has also, as I told you earlier, he has also picked up some clue from some other scholars like Alfred Wegener. Alfred Wegener gave him the idea of continental drift. Continental drift because of the various plates. The entire world is, the earth is actually formed of certain plates. These plates move, and because of certain point of time, these plates separate. So certain diversity that we see in this world is also because of the divergence. So पहले सभी एक ही world था, that was called Pangea, that I think you have even gotten to know in geography. So Pangea has become it has split into two parts, Laurentia or Laurasia and Gondwana. Okay, so Gondwana again got split into several parts. So like that, over a period of time, Earth has got into many continents. So this is one idea from Alfred Wegener. We have got some other scholar like Charles Lyell. Charles Lyell is a British geologist. He has written books called like a book titled Principles of Geology, and these Principles of Geology went into up to 3 volumes. So 3 volumes इन्होंने publish किया है. That means so much is there to know about Earth. And in this, what he has exactly given the idea is that the Earth itself is not like how the Bible and the Church in England has been speaking about the origin of Earth and creation of life on Earth at about 4,500 years only. So 4040 BC, ऐसा कुछ exact word मेरे को याद नहीं है date, but in that particular time only, entire within 2-3 days, entire creation is done. So, like according to that thinking, Earth's age is only few thousand years, and Charles Lyell did not think so. He said Earth's age is at least a few million years. So Darwin also got influenced by that. Darwin also got influenced by people like Thomas Huxley and other people like Herbert Spencer, who gave the idea of he gave the idea of survival of the fittest. And this man Herbert Spencer also came up with his own idea of evolution. He has also given some ideas. He has also spoken about how organisms, there is a organisms evolve. Like he also very strongly believed that organisms evolve. And I mean, these are all different ideas, like small ideas, not so very strong enough to completely sweep away the world of science. But Darwin has smartly correlated all of them, and he has married them together. In fact, he has got another man called Thomas Malthus. Thomas Malthus came and told his he gave the population theory. So he spoke about in this population theory or demographic theory, basically population theory bolte hain. He says food grows only in arithmetic proportion, AP, arithmetic progression, whereas population grows, population of organisms grows in, or populations grow in geometric progression, GP. मतलब कभी भी there is always a competition, ever never ending competition. Why? Because food is always and sources are always available in short supply, whereas the population is increasing manifold. Definitely there will be competition. So who will survive? The survival of the fittest. So all these things he has actually combined together, and his own observations from the Galapagos finches on these islands, right from in the off the coast of Ecuador in South America. Then he has come up with the theory of natural selection. So that's the reason Darwin's theory is also called as theory of natural selection. And nature selects. In this natural selection, what exactly is the central idea? The main idea is nature selects which individuals, fit individuals. You see, survival of the fittest. Fit individuals, matlab the individuals with some kind of ability to adapt to the environment, changing environment. The same idea which was also put forward by Lamarck. He has also spoken about adaptation, changing environment, but he did not base his argument on variation. So the main difference between Lamarck and right, this is the main difference. Lamarck and Darwin got differentiated only in this idea called variation. So variations is the hallmark of Darwinism, which is not spoken by Lamarck. Lamarck only spoke about one giraffe, who was always trying to increase its what you call presence and increase its neck size over generations. He did not talk about another variety, but Darwin hit exactly on the gap that was left out by Lamarck. So, what is that gap? We will examine in a while. Just these organisms are actually adapting to different. These are actually doing what? These animals, these birds are adapting to various ecological niches. These are called as ecological niches. Ecological niche matlab there is some particular climate. This may be a warm climate, this may be slightly more stronger warm climate, this may be drier climate, this may be rainy climate, this may be a cool climate. Okay, within that entire area, because of so many islands, Galapagos Islands is a group of islands. Each island had that particular finch, or in within one island 2-3 forms are found, right? So that means there was one common ancestor from which all these islands were inhabited over thousands or lakhs of years, each getting suited to that particular environment. Based on that requirement of that particular environment, the beak sizes have been adapted. So some of them were successful, some of them were not successful. So this very presence of variation has kick-started in the mind of Darwin that look. So he has tried to analyze again Lamarck's giraffe from this. So Lamarck साहब ने बोला एक ही जिराफ ही है, क्यों ना हम और एक जिराफ को डालते हैं उधर. Oh, then he thought, अच्छा, between them there will be some competition, and one fellow will go forward, one will become extinct. Based on Thomas Malthus's ideas of a geometric proportion in which the population grows and the food always grows in arithmetic progression, there will be always, because of that struggle, usually organisms overproduce. As simple as that. You see, even flies and mosquitoes of kabhi dekho, thousands they will be like swarming, like they'll be giving eggs on that basis. Even lower organisms, right? They always try to increase their volumes like in millions, like bacteria, viruses. They grow in colonies. They are called colonies, millions of them. And even the other animals, four-legged animals, dogs, cats, litter देते हैं. It's called litter. 3, 4, 5, 6 ऐसा देते हैं. But when the organisms grow higher and higher, they will be coming, they'll be having lesser and lesser organisms. But whatever may be the level, right, usually in organisms, there is a tendency of overproduction, or there is a prodigality of overproduction. Why? Because survival chances. देखो आप बहुत बार देखे होंगे, थोड़ा wrong example है लेकिन क्या करूं, unfortunately we have to speak about these dogs only. अपना जीता जागता हुआ examples. When we see dogs, they give a litter, 5, 6, minimum half dozen तो पैदा होते हैं, right? Puppies. And how many times you see on Indian roads, this puppy is being brutally killed. वो puppy का पूरा मांस का क्या होता है ना, some there like lot of it is completely pulped. कोरा कुचल देता है कोई कार या कोई ट्रक, whatever may be. It's all now it will become a piece like meat का एक छोटा सा dump होता है. Correct, hai? So many a times this because of this organisms deep inside, they know, I don't know where, he is not talked about all that, where they decide, who will decide, ये सब उसने बात नहीं किया है. ऐसा हो जाता है. Organisms by nature, by natural tendencies, they will overproduce, so that many are lost in the, by the time they become adults, they are gone. Only few survive. एंड सर्वाइवल या एक तो कंपटीशन और एक जगह से भी है, तो इसीलिए सर्वाइवल का क्वेश्चन कम है. देयर आर लेस चांस ऑफ सर्वाइवल, सो ऑर्गेनिजम्स टेंड टू ओवर प्रोड्यूस every time. This is the thing. And variation already I have spoken, and whatever variations that they develop, they are also given to the next generation. Next generation is follows the principle of heredity. Third one is, of course, struggle for existence, and existence is always of three types. There is struggle, ever present struggle. The organisms always struggle, and in three dimensions. One is, there is something called as intraspecific. Intraspecific means, I'll ask you, you can, meanwhile you'll answer this. The other is interspecific. And the third competition or struggle is with the environment. So organisms always struggle within their own species. And organisms, they also struggle with other species. That is interspecific. हम लोग बोलते हैं ना, कॉम्पिटिशन्स कॉलेजेस में होते हैं, आपको इंटर कॉलेज, इंट्रा कॉलेज. You can join all the three together and write one line. What is that? So it all these three factors, when this fellow wins here, in all the three areas he wins, no, the organism has better reproductive success, or rather simply it achieves reproductive success, and it is more fitter also. ये सब एक एक करके linked है. So this is linked to the next wala. It's not that only one thing is what you call exclusive. This is not exclusive. It is linked with the other concepts, the concepts that are coming in your way. Just note it down. Better reproductive success. Sorry. So the organism which achieves, you write one line like this. The organism which achieves in success in intraspecific struggle or for existence, interspecific struggle, and also the struggle with environment, it will have better reproductive success. So what is the fourth idea? Survival of the fittest, or natural selection. Naturally, see, who has survived after so many struggles, the fittest survives. Who gave the idea? Huxley and Spencer. बहुत simple idea. And how it is known to common people. Common people understand it as survival of the fittest. Experts say natural selection. What is nature selecting? The fit individual. Who is a fit individual? The better adapted individual. From where? From variation. What is a variation? One, minimum two. One fellow who cannot adapt to the changing climate. One fellow who is always ready to adapt, always adapts to the changing condition. Just like UPSC में भी बहुत changes आए थे. So like any field, not just UPSC, everywhere change is the only permanent thing in the world, and whosoever adjusts to that, He will survive. Otherwise, he or she will be gone. So modifications of the species. So how once they come to a certain level, they will go and become species. Earlier they were like common. Earlier life was simply cyanobacteria. Then it has become wider, and it has split into two kingdoms minimum: plant kingdom, animal kingdom. Within plants, millions of species, lakhs of species. Animals, lakhs of species. So modifications are continuous. Descent with modification हमने जाना ना, same thing. So modifications are the only things which are leading to the formation of new species. And what are the points of criticism? You can see. Natural selection itself is not adequate. There are so many forces which Mr. Darwin could not foresee those days. I mean, ये तो ठीक है भाई, लोग तो बोलेंगे ही बोलेंगे, correct है. Selection alone is not sufficient or adequate to explain the process of natural selection. That is correct. But from the angle of Darwin, if you see, डार्विन को उतना ही मालूम था. He was not aware of so many other forces. Who has given the next generation वाले, मैं बताया ना आपको, next generation में जो भी आ रहे वो लोग. Next you see individual differences that may give rise to variations affect the reproductive cells little or not at all. Individual differences will not actually come together. He was speaking about individuals. Darwin was not speaking about population as such. पूरा population में change होता है. Individual alone cannot bring change, no. हमारे में समाज में भी देख लो. If you want to bring change in the society, if one individual changes, I mean, he starts speaking something, people will ask him to shut up and sit down. कुछ नया सा अच्छा भी change बोलने दो उसको. When the people think it is not correct or उनको कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा, or this fellow is too advanced from his people, like he's far ahead of their times, so he will not be accepted. So gradually the entire group has to evolve together, then only all this will give rise to new kind of thing. And also there is a change that is happening at the cellular level, reproductive cellular level, that is called microevolution. आप लोग पूछ सकते हैं, डार्विन साहब ने बताया ना. अच्छा, डार्विन वाज आस्क्ड another question or a miss there. Mr. Darwin, how can you say that? I mean, we are not still convinced. You are speaking about that. वो हंच है, मेरे को अफ्रीका में जाके पता करो, जिराफ लोगों को देखो, जिराफ का कंपैरिजन देखो. मैं उधर जाके फिंचेस को देखा. 3 पॉइंट्स बोल दिया उसने. मेन पॉइंट सर्वाइवल ऑफ द फिटेस्ट, 4th पॉइंट. सब अच्छा ही है भाई, लेकिन हमको still we are not convinced. He said, okay, I don't have a much answer. Finally I'll give only one answer, that is arrival of the species. आपको evolution कैसा होना है मांगता है, मतलब how do you believe that evolution has happened? Look, there is so much diversity. So many species have come and occupied this planet. The very fact that these species were formed is the proof of evolution. मेरे पास तो इतना है अभी, आगे मैं बोल नहीं सकता हूँ. ऐसा करके उन्होंने क्लियरली बोल दिया. You have to go and do the role play there, then only you'll understand this concept. Okay, when new species arrive at the large level over millions of years or lakhs of years or thousands of years, then it is called macroevolution. Okay, macro level pe, broader level, at the broader level if the change is happening, it's called macroevolution. Then how this change is happening, at what level? Now देखो इधर answers उधर second point पे है. इंडिविजुअल डिफरेंसेस बाहर नहीं दिखते हैं ना, लेकिन अंदर से हो रहे हैं. एंड दे अफेक्ट द रिप्रोडक्टिव सेल्स समटाइम्स और नॉट एट ऑल समटाइम्स. एंड दे विल बी चेंजिंग gradually, very gradually, and accumulating small differences, and they will come out as microevolution. So evolution happens at the macro level, evolution happens at the micro level. Darwin could only talk about macro level. So Darwin was not aware exactly where it is happening. So this criticism was given on him. Third wala, a number of useless or non-adaptive features or characters or organs could not have been arisen by natural selection. Best example is oversized or over specialized antlers, ऐसा सिंग बाहर आते हैं ना antlers of the Irish deer. अच्छा, I'm gonna ask you one question. Have you heard about this expression called locking horns? These two parties are locking horns. India and England are going to lock their horns for the final game. बोल के लिखता है जर्नलिस्ट. थोड़ा इंग्लिश ज्यादा आता है उसको, हम लोगों को ऑर्डिनरी पीपल. Again we have to see, type in the Google ये locking horns क्या है. Locking horn means people who are fighting, like two Irish deer. Irish deer have got, like I have drawn this the tree of life, no, uske sing, competition, exactly. See, it's the deer has so many, like as a tree jaisa rehta hai. Have you seen, no? Deers have one or two like branches. It has got the sing like this. Deer have got very complex things, and the danger is when these males fight for their domination, maybe for food, maybe for females. This male Irish deer come and start fighting. तो आमने सामने ऐसा आते हैं, like ऐसा sheep आके मारते हैं ना ऐसा, दोनों they will lock horns. And what will happen? Can you tell me what will happen after that? जल्दी बताना है. If two Irish deer males, usually when they fight, when they are very strong, they are not giving up. हमको तो fight करना ही मांगता है. We have to fight today and we'll see the end. करके दोनों कूद जाते हैं. Then क्या हो जाएगा? And when they lock horns, unfortunately, they will die. Then not because of fighting or blood आके, no, ऐसा नहीं. They cannot come out of unwriggle out of the lock. इतना बुरा होता है उनका हाल. They cannot come out and they die because they cannot. They try and struggle and wriggle out. पहले तो fight करने के लिए बहुत मतलब full जोश से आते हैं, लेकिन gradually they lose their energy. Well, they cannot come and eat. One fellow drags here, one fellow drags here. Like दोनों उधर खींचातानी में वहीं मर जाते हैं. Is it like, now tell me how nature has selected this? If a fit individual is having fit characters, adaptive characters, like if these beautiful elaborate networks of antlers were to be a good feature, then why it is not helping the organism? Darwin said every adaptive feature will help the organism to go and survive and go forward, not die like Irish deer. But Irish deer are dying like this. And it is these antlers are disadvantage to it. It gets caught. See, any trait which is selected by nature, if trait means character. For example, in giraffe, long neck was a good character, no, good trait. So it became beneficial to giraffe and it survived and it lived on. But what about the antlers, this elaborate, highly networked antlers? It should have been useful for that organism, no? Criticism is saying, agar Darwin sahab bol rahe hain, everything is useful, but why these are not useful? So Darwin could not see the other side of the coin. Sometimes nature selects non-adaptive traits also. थोड़ा deeply जाना पड़ता है आपको. Everything can't be explained in the class itself, right? थोड़ा try करो, you'll understand. You see, read it 2-3 times, you'll understand. So these antlers are over specialized. Unfortunately, 2-3 है तो चलता था, लेकिन network बहुत बड़ा सा, something like fan, like you can type in the Google and see. And hunting also, the antlers made the deer easier for predators and hunters to kill because they get caught easily, and and even for that matter they fight. Next, natural selection also could not explain the degeneration of certain characters. अरे यार डार्विन साहब नहीं, जिंदा नहीं बचे यार. See, these are the people who have attacked him later. Darwin could not, like, every time Darwin was not attacked by his contemporaries, future scholars also. Darwin had no answer. अरे कितना जवाब दूं भाई, मैं मेरे को तो नहीं मालूम. Whatever I could give, I could actually theorize and give. This is the main idea. Maybe natural selection will not select every good trait. Sometimes wrong, bad traits are also selected. So future scientists have thrown criticism on Darwinism.